Sweet surrender as I love, serve, and remember.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, you know, life is so funny. Of course, it wasn't funny at about 6 o'clock this morning when I woke up and I looked like the fly. I'm serious. I was like, uh-oh. But, you know, treatment works. I just looked like a half a fly now. All is well. So it's so good to be here this morning. I mean, I am really looking forward to this talk. And I got to tell you, you know, that song just now, was that just absolutely beautiful? Oh my God, give Dwayne another hand for that. You know, because that's exactly what I want to talk about this morning. Letting the walls come down and open to receive. You know, because sometimes we don't know that we've got stuff in the way. You know, we say, well, I'm asking. I'm demanding. But nothing's showing up. And you know, I remember something Ernest Holmes said. He said, at every moment, we are either drawing things to us or pushing them away. So if they're not showing up in our lives, which one of those things do you think we might be doing? Yeah, okay. So I was thinking about all the people I talk to now. I have a lot of practitioner clients and coaching and that kind of thing. And the one thing I notice is it's a really beautiful thing to be able to pay attention to it and to see what is actually going on. Is that, you know, people they share what's going on with them. And the question I always ask is, well, I'm going to just call out some qualities, which is really our universal essence, and you tell me which one of those qualities seems to be missing from your life. Love, light, power, peace, beauty, joy, prosperity, freedom, health, harmony, wisdom, creativity, success, and truth. Now you can actually do that also, and this can apply to you as well. So if the person is experiencing a prosperity issue, they'll usually say, well, it feels like my prosperity is missing, okay? And if a person is experiencing a health issue, they might say, it feels like my health is missing, okay? If they're in depression or something, it feels like my joy is just gone, okay? But you know, the interesting thing is that whenever I'm talking to a client, the one quality that I would always select is the same for everybody that I talk to, and that's power. Power. Because that, to me, is so important for us to realize that we have and to use. And so when it comes to opening and receiving, it's kind of important to know that we do have power. That we have the power to call forth what it is that we're ready to experience, and that we're entitled to what we're ready to experience. And as we know this, it enables us to just kind of let go and open up and let whatever it is that needs to happen through us. So just think about that as we move through this talk. A few weeks ago, I was talking to my daughter on the phone. She lives in New Orleans now. And I told her that I needed to come up with a title for this morning. And she immediately said, "Open to receive." And I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah." So I said, "Well, why are you choosing that one?" She said, "Because just because we want to receive something doesn't mean that we're open to receive it." Yeah. Now, she is a practitioner, you know. But, and she said there are many things that stop us. So she was absolutely right. It seems strange, I know, that we would want something, that we would be asking for something, but we're not open to receive it. What's that even about? Yesterday, these questions kind of came up towards the end of our group session, and I thought this topic for this morning is absolutely perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I began thinking back at a time when I was having some serious, what I labeled was prosperity issues. And I remember how frustrating it was for me for people to tell me things like, "Well, Dar, you already have it." Anybody ever hear that? Okay. Here we are trying to manifest something, putting forth all our energy, all our effort into it, and somebody said, "Well, you already have it." Okay? And the reason this frustrated me so much was because to my way of thinking, if I already had it, then where is it? Where did I have to go? What was this? What is it that I would have to do to even be able to see it? Because if it's here, I should be able to see it. Other people should be able to see it. And the other answer that totally frustrated me was that, oh, this one really got me. It's you. It's me? Okay. I am broke, okay? And you're telling me that what I'm calling for is me? Again, where is it? Why isn't it showing up in my life? But you know, they were right. But I didn't know it at the time. Prosperity is one of those universal qualities that I just called out. It is me. It's you. And we do already have it because it was given to us in the beginning. This was the package. Those qualities that I called out, that was the package that we all showed up with. Every single one of them, and each one of those qualities is unlimited. And not only that, but each one of these qualities is a promise to each and every one of us. That is the package that we arrived with, that those are the qualities that make up who we are. So if it's my makeup, then how could it be separate from me? How could it be somewhere else? If anybody in the room is going through a prosperity issue, at least that's what you're naming it now, but I'm going to rename it at the end. But if you're going through a prosperity issue, I want you to think about this. But it doesn't just have to be prosperity. It can be a joy issue. It can be a freedom issue. It can be a love issue. It can be any of those qualities that we feel is missing from us. And I want you to recognize that that package was complete. Everybody got it. Nobody got more of it than anybody else. And there's no limit to how much of it we can use. So they were right. I had it, and it was me. And I want you to know, if you're going through an issue like that, you have it, and it is you. I was looking for what I wanted to come from somewhere outside of me, and that was my first mistake. I later learned that there are actually only really two main causes that tend to block our desired experiences. One of them is a belief in separation. And the other one is a lack of self-worth, where we don't feel worthy of what it is that we're calling for. But you know, A Course in Miracles tells us, and this is one of my, I really love that at the very beginning of this book, they tell us what it is that's needed. And it says, a sense of separation is the only lack we really need to correct. A sense of separation, that's it. Something that you believe that was left out of your package. Something that you believe you got to go out and find because it was accidentally left out. Yeah. And a lack of self-worth. Wow. But let's go to that sense of separation. Because what we want to recognize is that whatever it is that we're ready to experience has to be here, and it has to be here now, because here and now is the only time and space that the universe knows. So maybe we need to bring ourselves back into alignment, into the here and now, and be able to feel what must of necessity be here right now. An awareness of oneness with our desired experience is what enables it to be revealed through us. It's an awareness that what we want is not there. In fact, there is no there. Yeah. What we want has to be here, now. Because to the universe, there is no there. So what you desire is not going to happen. What you desire is happening right now, but for whatever reason, we haven't yet opened to receive it. And I was accepting it. I was at that point where I was accepting it. At least I thought I was. Anybody ever have a problem with something and you think, you just know, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing what they told me to do with this teaching. And it's not working. But what I was learning was that I had to accept that it has to already be here now. Can you imagine what accepting that it's here now would have to mean in terms of manifesting? Because if we can accept that it's here now, and if it's not showing up in our life, then that tells us who we need to look at in terms of what's not showing up. Well, maybe I'm doing something to block it. Maybe I'm doing something that's not allowing it to come through me. In my talk yesterday, I said, if we define ourselves as prosperous, we automatically prosper. Automatically. If that's the way we know ourselves, we're going to see it show up around us everywhere. And if we define ourselves as healthy, we're going to experience health. And doesn't this take you back to something that Dr. J used to say all the time when he'd say, we cannot manifest or we cannot demonstrate beyond our self-definition? So I have to know myself as the quality in order for the quality, in other words, that's the way I let it in. That's the way I let it out. By knowing myself as the thing that I'm ready to experience. And by knowing myself as the thing I'm ready to experience, guess what I eliminate? Separation. Separation. Everything that we could ever desire has already been offered to us. But it's up to us to accept it. But our desires are not something we must become worthy of. That is so important to understand. Rather than trying to convince the universe of our worthiness of anything, we have to convince ourselves. It's us. So anytime we find ourselves pleading, begging and pleading, oh, please, please, please bring this to me, show this to me, whatever. If we're not seeing it, we still don't know that we're one with it, and we still see ourselves as, for whatever reason, not worthy of it. Maybe we feel we haven't worked hard enough for it. And the one thing that we do in terms of worthiness to heal that is to love ourselves. Just love ourselves unconditionally. You know, so I got up this morning looking like the fly. Okay, Dar. So what did Cheryl say? Well, you're still cute. That took a minute to receive. But the thing is that we have to love ourselves. You know what? I may not be able to see right now, but that's okay, because you know what? I'm still cute. And I love myself unconditionally, okay? I didn't even think for a second of saying, Cheryl, can you take over for me? Never crossed my mind. Hey, I'm okay. I'm good. And I know I'm good. Do you know you're good? Do you know how many times when we used to sing in class and in the center, how can anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful?
Beautiful.
How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole?
Oh,
How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. And I remember walking through that line as we were singing, and I saw tears. I saw so many tears, and to me they were healing tears. Because if you didn't know it before, you know it now. When you walk through these doors, you know it. You can feel the love. You walk, you can feel the energy. Isn't everything energy? Isn't that what we talked about yesterday? It's all energy. So if it's all energy, then we can feel it if we're open and receptive to it. But we have to let go of the fear. Because it is one thing that we do that it does tend to block us. Our fears block our awareness, our clarity, and our spiritual vision. And our fears can range anywhere from low to incapacitating. The reason I say our fears is because the universe doesn't know anything about them. Doesn't know a thing about fear. That's our stuff. We can feel anywhere between reassured or unnerved, depending on how much power we give to our fears. So since the outcome is always up to us, then why not decide that it's time to trust life to guide us and to reveal what we're ready to see? Our goal is to reach that point where we believe that more is ready for us. Not just here, it's ready for us. And to believe the word that we speak. The power of that word. We talked about that yesterday. Where we can call things that be not as though they were. Because we have that power. Where we can know that this word that I speak is law whereunto it is spoken, that it must return to me as fulfillment. Cannot return to me void. Why? Because of who I am. You know, and looking at who I am, think about the fact that who we are is made in the image and after the likeness of a power that is unlimited, that is unconditional love. So if that's who we are, how could we ever be unworthy of anything? Yeah. You know, the other thing that I think a lot about is even the idea of separation. We talked a lot about yesterday. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Well, if everything is energy, then our desires have to be that same energy. We're that same energy. How could anything be that we're the same energy with be separate from us? I want you to think about that. I want you to leave here thinking in terms of being open to receive. Even if you're not doing it yet. Be open. Whatever it is that you have not, that you've asked for and you haven't seen, or that you haven't even had the nerve to ask for. So it's time for new decisions, where we begin to line up with them and expect them to become manifest. And there's no magic about it. It's really just aligning our yes up with God's yes. So what I eventually realized was that what I was experiencing and what I thought were prosperity issues were really an identity issue. I didn't know who I was. But you know what? I know who I am today. I know who I am today. I'm cute. But I'm just going to read this last thing to you because I think it's so beautiful. Something that I was reading by Esther Hicks. I've been reading it for the last 3 weeks. I just keep going back to it because it's so beautiful and it's so simple. She says, sometimes what we want and what we believe are not in the same place. And when this happens, our desire doesn't feel so good. It's all about you figuring out some way to believe your desires exist. And for most of us, the reason we don't is because some of what we desire has not yet come into manifestation. So it feels absent to you. It's not here. You're looking for it, but you don't see it. And as you look for it and you don't see it, you practice the absence of it. We end up practicing the absence of what we want. But what we've asked for is already a vibrational reality. It was given to you by source energy at the moment you asked. But the gap you feel, how long it takes to close that gap is a much simpler thing than most people realize. Because most people are trying to close that gap through action. Yet it takes so little action for you to be in the receiving mode. But if you're in the struggling mode, you're not in the receiving mode. If you're in the efforting mode, you're not in the receiving mode. If you're in the efforting mode, you're not receiving. Or if you're angry or frustrated or worried about something, you're not in the receiving mode. You've got to feel light and easy and playful. Things like that are often conducive to being in vibrational alignment with who you really are. This is the time where you line up with the vibrational frequency that has already been given, that was given when you asked for it. But you've got to let it in. She didn't say you have to ask for it again. She said you've got to let it in. You've got to allow it. It's not about trying harder, because effort works against you. Up till now, your beliefs have prevented you from your desires. But in the allowing, you've let go of this and are just letting it be. So, this morning I invite you to recognize that it's already been given, to align with it, and just let it be. And so it is. Thank you.
I walk in God.